Welcome to Yogaroo Online. And in this practice, we're going to focus on backbends. So backbends, very similar benefits to the twists. So we have the kind of the aiding the gut, building overall body heat, circulation, the breath, and also the immune system. But where with twists, I see them very much as I see them as heat and immune system. With backbends, I really see the slight more focus on the respiratory system. So this week, if with all the different benefits these two families of poses have that are similar, it is good to have a little bit of a focus in your mind. So this week, let's focus on the breath, and it's more the idea of expanding the lungs and getting kind of a good bit of elasticity into our lungs as we take our back bend, okay? So really feel into the expansion of the lungs. In terms of the anatomy, I'd like you to focus your back bends on equally on left and right. So try to kind of think of your spine as this rod going up through the center of your body. And we want this to back bend equally. If you take a view from the side, we want me to back bend equally through it in each section, but also equally left to right. So we don't want to, now there is some poses where we will come into a side bend, but we don't want to take one side into a more contracted back bend than the other side. So you can have your back bends as modest as you like, as long as you concentrate on these two little things that I'm giving you to focus on. And I will remind you, because as you are concentrating through the practice, you will forget. So we're looking at expanding the breath, really working on the elasticity of the lungs, and working on a lovely, equally distributed back bend to the front or the sides and through the whole spine, lower, mid, and upper. Okay, as usual, we'll start in cat-cows. So let's just start to build a little bit of fluid through the vertebrae of the spine there in our cat-cows. So again, this might be the first thing you've done today, early in the morning, or maybe you're practicing later on in the day and you're feeling a little bit more lubricated in the spine. So take your cat-cows as your warm-up to whatever level your spine feels able for. So inhale, let the belly soften down towards the ground, and exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Continue to breathe there. I'm going to give you a few extra little alignment cues. So you move with your breath, the belly softens towards the ground on the inhale, and the exhale, you lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Draw your navel in towards your spine here. Feel the pelvis lifting up and back here. It's like you're trying to push the back of your pelvis towards the back of your mat there. Inhale, the belly softens towards the ground. Press your hands into the mat and draw them towards your knees so the center of your chest can reach towards the front of your mat there. Inhale or exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Press the hands into the mat, press them away from your knees. Let your shoulder blades spread across your back. So see, can you let the center of your shoulder blades lift up towards the ceiling? And then just take a few rounds of cat-cow, any version that suits you. Moving with your breath. Okay, we're going to do another little cat-cow, and we're going to do it with keeping the chest open. So listen carefully. You're going to inhale, let the belly soften down towards the ground, and then our exhale, keep the chest open, and then just let the hips come back into our kind of it's almost like cat-cow child's pose type thing. So keeping the chest nice and open here, and then inhale up to all fours. And then exhale, let the hips come back, keep the chest open. One more time, inhale up to all fours. And then exhale, keeping the chest nice and open. Really plant those hands into your mat there. Inhale up to all fours again, and then exhale, just really simple, side bend. We're gonna walk the hands off the right side of your mat there. And then just maybe even gently look back towards your right feet there. And reach that left hip bone away to the back of your mat there, and just notice how much more of a stretch that gives you through the side of your body. What we're doing here is we're warming up the little bits of the intercostal muscles between the ribs here to allow for our back bend. So side bends, let's move to the other side. Side bends are really good to take when you're working on back bends because you're working isolating either side of the spine to warm them up. Okay, press into your hands there and lengthen through the arms. So make your shoulders nice and broad here. Reach that right hip away from you now. And then back to center again. Going to come all the way down to the ground. So another little principle that we're going to work through in our back bends here is the idea that we're going to contain the back bend a little bit or control the back bend a little bit in our lower spine with the strength of our core. So we're going to do a little bit of core awakening here. So you're going to bring your hands into Sphinx pose, which is just the forearms planted on the ground with the fingers facing forward so that they're parallel to each other. And I want you to have your elbows directly underneath your shoulders there. So a line from the elbow all the way, or from the shoulder all the way down to the elbow. This is our inhale here. Press into your forearm. Draw your chest forward between your arms there. And on your exhale, you're going to keep your arms planted. Plant your knees and the tops of your feet and roll your whole spine up until you lift that big heavy pelvis. Feel your core working here to lift that pelvis. Inhale to come down again. It's a subtle little move, but it's really good work for the whole wrap of the core. So the front, sides and back. Inhale here, draw the chest through the arms there again. And then exhale, peel your whole spine up towards the ceiling, lift the pelvis. Exhale, push all the breath out. We'll do one more round. Inhale, brings the belly down towards the ground. Draw the chest through the arms there, lengthen through the spine. Feel that lovely stretch from the belly button to the center of your chest there. And then exhale one more time, lifting the pelvis up, letting the shoulders kind of roll forward to facilitate that. Coming all the way down again now. You're going to reach the arms forward into kind of a star shape. Bring the legs wide as well. You're going to lift the left arm or the left arm and the right leg and reach diagonally. So you can bring your forehead down to the ground, or you can just lengthen through the tip of the crown there, whatever feels most comfortable on your neck. So keep breathing here, reaching through the left fingertips and the right toes, and then bring them down. And now we're going to lift the left leg and the right arm. Reach, reach, reach through those right fingertips and the left toes diagonally across your mat here now. And then bring them down. We're going to bring the arms back behind us. We're going to lift just the upper body for the first one. So inhale, reach those arms up and back and feel the chest opening there. Feel the strength of your upper back here. Breathing for 3. Gaze down towards your mat. We don't want too much extension in the neck there. Breathing for 2. Plant the tops of your feet on the ground, your pelvic bone on the ground as well, and 1. And then just coming down, take a rest, maybe bring your forehead to the ground, getting ready to go again. And then for the next one, we're going to reach the arms back and lift the legs this time. So including the back of the hips there, the glutes. Breathing for 3, press into the pubic bone. That's the only point now on the ground. Feel your whole belly now pressing into the ground. And at the same time, cinch your waist in. So don't puff your belly out. Breathing for 1. And then exhale to come all the way down. For the last one, we're just going to really wake up those shoulder blades there. You're going to bring your arms into cactus position. And on your next inhale, lift just the upper body. And then we're going to include the lower body. Breathing for 3. Bring those shoulder blades together now. Lift the arms back. So you can keep those elbows same as high as your shoulders and it's the same line as your shoulders. Breathing for 2. One last breath. And exhale to come all the way down. Plant your hands either side of the body. Move really slowly and gently now. You've just brought your back into a back bend. So we want to really move slowly through it and feel the effects of the back bend on the spine. So it might feel a little bit kind of tender at the back, or not particularly tender. It's just that the muscles have been working. And let's just come to tabletop position here. Do your smallest ever little cat-cow there, just to ease out any little bits of muscle tension in the back of your spine there. Okay, and then come up onto the fingertips. Inhale here and exhale, step your right leg just to the inside of your right hand there now. On your inhale, you're going to bring yourself up to a kneeling position with one leg forward. Now just have the fingertips on the front of the hips there. I think we did a little bit of this in a previous class. So I want you to have this idea of lifting those hip bones up. And if that means that you need to back away from that front leg a little bit rather than leaning forward. So have that more stacked over the knee rather than letting the whole pelvis come forward. So the more you push those hips back, the more we're stretching through the front of that hip flexor there. And it just gives us a better foundation to take a back bend from. Because if we're coming forward, we've already brought our lower back into a little back bend, which means it could end up taking the brunt of the back bend. So stack that pelvis there so that we have the foundation to build our back bend from. We're going to come into our first kind of proper back bend now. So inhale, reach the arms up high. And then exhale, bring the arms out into cactus position now and start to bring yourself into your back bend. Nice and slowly, really gently, and a very mini back bend for our first back bend. Have this intention. It's almost like you have an imaginary bar that you're trying to reach your shoulders up and over rather than letting the whole thing coming into the lower body there. Remember, we started at the start, we talked at the start of class about distributing your back bend. So as you are in your back bend now, can you feel that all those sections of the back are taking an equal amount of the effort of the back bend? And of course, because of the curves of the spine, they're all bending to a different degree because the top of the spine naturally bends forward. It will feel like it's not back bending quite as much as the lower body, but in terms of effort within the muscles, does it feel equal? Little tuck to the chin there, I find, protects my lower neck from over bending back. And then we're going to flow through it. So inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale into our cactus. Inhale, reach, and exhale into our cactus. Last time, inhale, reach, and exhale into our cactus. Inhale, reach one more time. And then exhale, you're going to place your right hand on your lower back. And here's our little side bend, like I talked at the start of class, great for warming up the spine. You're going to bring the fingertips to the back of the mat there. So you are externally rotating that arm. The upper arm here is rolling out. And you're going to reach the left fingertips up and over using this right hand as kind of your support and your brakes to the back right corner of your mat there, okay? Right leg is forward, left leg is kneeling, left arm is reaching to the back right corner of your mat there. Feel that lovely stretch through the left side of your body there. And see, can you let that whole left side of the body come into a lovely bow here? From the knee almost to the fingertips. Inhale, reach both arms up again. And exhale, bring both hands down either side of the front foot. Step that right leg back, and we'll just take again your smallest cat-cows, just ease it all out. Notice, does your body feel equal or does it feel different on both sides? Which probably it will, it certainly does for me. Okay, we'll equal ourselves up now. Inhale here, and then exhale, we're gonna step that left foot just to the inside of the left hand. And then inhale, reach the arms up high. Okay, we're going to come into our back bend and we're going to pause for a few minutes and we're going to talk through the sensations, then we'll flow into it. So inhale to lengthen, remembering finding all those little bits of space between the vertebrae, axial extension, this idea of this string at the top of your head, reaching you up towards the ceiling or the sky. Inhale here and then exhale, bring the arms into cactus position. Reach back into your back bend. Feel the different sections of the back. See, have you got equal effort into each of them? Also, remember that idea of cinching the waist in. So that's protecting your lower back from coming into too much of a back bend, which is often what happens in back bends for a lot of people, not everybody. So this idea of cinching the waist in towards the spine there to protect the lower back. And then notice last little principle. Are you back bending equally left and right side of body? Okay, we'll flow through it now. So inhale, reach the arms up high and exhale back. Inhale, reach. And exhale back. Last time, inhale, reach. And then exhale back. Inhale, reach. This time we're going to bring our left hand onto our lower back there, our lower spine. Externally rotate that right arm, so the whole upper arm is rolling out until the palm faces towards the back of the mat. And we're going to exhale and reach that right arm now to the back left corner of your mat, stretching through the whole right side of the body here, from the right knee all the way to the right fingertips. Breathing, remembering that principle of cinching the waist in, also lifting the pelvic floor. So containing all the effort that's been happening in the body. We need to contain the effort. Inhale, reach the arms up high again, and then exhale, coming all the way down to the ground. So bring that left leg back. We're going to do some locust Shavasanas in between our standing poses. So come all the way down to the ground now. And we're going to keep it simple for these. So we're going to reach the arms back and take 3 rounds. I'm going to leave it up to you whether you want to just lift the upper body, because essentially that's still a back bend, or whether you want to add the legs into it. So inhale to your preferred option. Breathing for 3, 2, 1, and exhale to come down again. We'll do 3 rounds of this. So inhale, lifting your preferred option for 3, 2, 1, and then exhaling to come down. Last time, inhale, reaching for 3, 2, 1, and exhaling to come down again. Arms either side of the chest there, press into your arms, seeking you keep those elbows tight against the body, really slowly bringing yourself up again. Little micro cat-cows there, and maybe even some circles or figure 8s, just whatever feels nice to your spine, just keeping it well lubricated through the class. Okay, and then we're going to come up to standing for our next flow. So exhale here. Inhale, you're going to step that right leg forward just to the inside of the right hand. Tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee, and then exhale, step that left leg forward and fold down, a deep bend in the knees if you need it for the hamstrings. Press into your feet, inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Press the palms, a little bit of work, an added bonus for the arms there. Okay, we're going to do half forward fold, one of my favorites, because it really helps you find strength through the upper spine. And for me, it kind of helps me to find and keep that upper spine strength in my everyday life, and a little bit of an awareness of the posture, even though in the position you're folding forward. So we're going to come in and out of it a few times. So inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale, bend the knees a little bit, folding down. Here's our 3 rounds of half forward fold. I'll take you slowly on the first one. So inhale, I keep a little bend in my knees because I have a lot of tension in the back of my hamstrings there, so feel free to do that. I'm pressing my hands into my knee caps there, or just the top of my knees. I'm rolling my shoulders back, bringing the center of my chest forward. Now watch the neck here. We're often inclined to, because we're bringing this part of our chest forward, we're inclined to hyper extend our neck there, but maybe even bring your gaze down towards the ground to make sure that you're not doing that. Or even, again, that little chin tuck is a good cue as well. Press your hands into your knees. The chest is coming forward. You're rolling your shoulders back. Your hands, it's like your hands are glued into your knees there, but you're desperately trying to lift yourself up. And then you feel all the muscles of the spine switching on. The more you press your hands into your knees, the more you resist and try and lift, the more you feel the spine working. And then we'll come down and exhale really gently, let the spine roll. The second round, inhale to come up, shoulders back, center of the chest forward, and then exhale, come down again. We'll do one more round of that. Inhale halfway up, press the hands into the knees, reach the chest forward, shoulders back, shoulder blades, those lovely triangular bones, cinched together on the back of your behind your spine there, and then exhale, folding down. Inhale to come up halfway again. Our next exhale, you're going to step your left leg back. Stay nice and wide on your mat now, just for balance, because we're standing now. Inhale, reach the arms up high. We're going to do the exact same flow as we did when we were kneeling. So have this awareness of the fingertips to the front of the bones, those hip bones there. You might need a little bend in that back knee to allow that hip to come upright there, or maybe you can lengthen it out, just see, depends how your front hip is feeling. Make sure that that front knee is not over kicking that right ankle there. So you can be up high if you need to be. Again, it's a back bendy class. Don't worry too much about the position of the legs here. Okay, we'll come through our rounds of back bends. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale into our back bend. So see, again, this imaginary stick or pole behind the back of the shoulders there, and we're trying to lift ourselves up and over it there. See, have you got equal effort, lower back, mid back, upper back, and indeed the back of the neck there, maybe using that little technique of the gentle chin tuck. Let's go through our rounds. So inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale. See, can you keep those elbows at shoulder height there? Inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale into your back bend. Inhale, reach, last round, and exhaling the whole breath here. Inhale, reach, and then this time we're going to bring our right hand onto our lower back. Remember this external rotation, so that's just the palm facing behind you. We're going to inhale and exhale, reach that left fingertips to the back right corner of your mat there. Now this is definitely one where you need to cinch the waist in, so don't let the front of the belly puff out there. Use that cue of navel to spine, feel the whole core wrapping, and let the breath expand the belly, but still let this transverse abdominis, this corset muscle contain and protect your spine. Inhale, reach both arms up again, and then exhale, hands either side of the front foot, bring the left knee down, bring the right leg back, and we're going to start onto our second side now. Okay, exhaling here, inhale, we're going to step that left leg forward now, just to the inside of the left hand, tuck right toes under, lift right knee, and then exhale to fold down. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high, and exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. We're going to do our 3 rounds of half forward fold, just to wake the spine up. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale, folding down. Little bend in your knees if you need it. Inhale, coming up halfway. We'll pause for a breath or two in the first one. So plant those hands onto your knees, maybe even hugging your little finger and your thumb around the top of your knee there, if that helps you. And then reach the chest forward as the shoulders move backwards. Roll those shoulders backwards. A little bit of a chin tuck, maybe just to protect the spine or the cervical spine for overextending the neck. And really feel the muscles of the back working there. Pause for a moment here, just till you really feel them active. Exhale, folding down. And coming up 3 times. Inhale to come up. And hands planted. The more you press into your knees, the more you try and lift. It's like you've glued your hands. You're trying desperately to lift the chest up. They won't come. The spine is working. Exhale to fold down. Last time. Inhale to come up. Hands to knees. Press. Shoulders back. Shining the front of your chest forward. And then exhale to come down. Inhale, coming up halfway. Both hands onto the left knee this time. Step the right leg back. Come nice and wide on your mat here now. Inhale, reach the arms up. Let's take a moment to set that leg up. Remembering a little bend in that right knee will help you to lift the hips up, but it does tire the leg out. So there's a little bit of a balance between the two. So just whatever works for you to get the hips lifted. And you'll notice definitely the difference between the kneeling version and the standing version is definitely more of an opening to the front of that hip there in this pose, the standing version. Okay, we'll come through our rounds. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale into our back bend. Feel that lovely equal spread of the back bend through lower spine, mid spine, and upper spine. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale, reaching over our imaginary pole there. Inhale, reaching. Last round, and into our back bend. Inhale, reach the arms up high again, And exhale, this time we're bringing our left hand onto our lower back, externally rotating that arm. Inhale to reach, and exhale, reaching the right fingertips to the back left corner of your mat there. Soften that right shoulder, so make sure it's not up around your ear there. Feel that lovely stretch now from the toes to the fingertips. Stretch and expand at the same time. Lots of muscle activity as well as you move down the body because the legs are holding you up. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot. Bring that right knee down, step that left leg back. Let's take one or two little mini cat cows here at the end of our second standing flow. How are we doing for time? Okay, and then coming all the way down to the ground for our 3 rounds of locust Shavasana. And deciding again, you might want to just do the upper body because you really want to feel the back bend and you don't want the glutes to be added into the equation, or you can add the legs into it and wake up all the muscles on the back body. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So inhale, lift, breathing for 3, breathing for 2, and 1, and exhale to come down, maybe making a pillow with your hands. Let your forehead come down. Let's keep going. The second round, inhale, lift for 3, for 2, for 1, and exhale to come down. And inhaling to lift and breathing for 3. And when I say breathing, I mean inhale and exhale. So I hope you're not all holding your inhale. So it's 3 breaths, 3 full breaths, breathing for 3, breathing for 2, and 1, and exhale to come down. Hands either side of your chest there, gently lift yourself up, remembering to move nice and slowly, be gentle with your back now. And we'll move into our next flow. Okay, so we're going to exhale here and inhale, step your right leg forward, tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee. Exhale to fold down. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, so for this second one now, we're going to take us into a chair pose with the arms in cactus position. So we know our chair pose, this is chair pose with the knees bent and either the hands in prayer position or the hands are reaching. For this one, we're going to do chair pose with the arms in cactus position, and that will again help us to find our back bend. Remembering particularly for this one, because we're tilting the pelvis forward and we're lifting the chest, really be careful about the distribution of your back bend here, because we're tilting the pelvis forward and we're coming upright. Make sure that you are using your upper spine as well as your lower back for this one. And back out of it, just come back up a little bit if you're feeling anything too intense in the lower spine there. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale with the arms in cactus position, bending the knees, pelvis tilts forward a little bit, and yet the upper spine is lifting up and back. So soften the shoulders, navel in towards spine, feeling the strength of your core here as you take yourself into a little back bend. And we're going to go through 3 rounds. So inhale, reach the arms up high, and then exhale, gently bringing the arms into cactus, bend the knees, lifting the spine. Again, you can imagine that imaginary pole, just that gives you that little bit of lift. I find that helps me to find my back bend in my upper body rather than just letting it all collapse into the lower. Last round, inhale, lift, and then exhale into our cactus. Navel in towards spine and lift the pelvic floor here too. Just sometimes when there's poses with that extra bit of effort, it's good to link back in with your pelvic floor and make sure that you are containing all the muscles around the pelvic region. Inhale, reach the arms up high again. And then exhale, swing the arms back, step that left leg back, and we'll find our way into arrowhead. Okay, so we're going to move to the back, front and the back of our mat now. So listen carefully. We're going to ground that right foot down, and we're going to sweep that you're grounding your left foot down, your right foot is forward. You're going to sweep that right arm up and over and find your way into reverse warrior. This is going to be our inhale. So we're going to flow through this one. So I'll go through it slowly to start with. For our exhale, you're going to pivot both feet around to the side of the mat Feet at a 45-degree angle, bend the knees and make our way into goddess pose. Then we're going to inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale into our back bend in goddess pose. So those cactus arms again. If you want to see me from the side, if I don't slip on my mat, I'm lifting the arms up, and then I'm coming into goddess, and I'm taking it into a back bend goddess. Okay, into our back bend goddess. And then I'm going to inhale, reach the arms up, and then I'm flipping to the back of my mat. So I'm bending my left knee now. I'm kind of rotating that back foot, that right foot. So it's at a 45-degree angle, and I'm just simply taking my warrior to the back of my mat. Okay, so the journey is, we'll start at the front just to make sure that everyone's on the right side. So pivot yourself around so the right foot is bent there now. And it's going to be warrior to the front, goddess to the side, backbend goddess, warrior to the back. And then we're going to travel through goddess, backbend goddess, warrior to the right. So that's the flow. We'll try and add now the breath to it and flow through it maybe for 2 or 3 rounds. So inhale into our reverse warrior, and your right knee is bent for this one. Exhale, pivot the feet around to the side of your mat, hands in prayer position, bend both knees, so feet at a 45-degree angle. Lift those hip bones up. Inhale, reach the arms up high, and exhale, arms into cactus, goddess legs, and we've got our back bend cactus. Inhale, reach again, and exhale, keep the arms reaching until we sort the legs out. So I'm pivoting that right foot around. I pivoted my left foot all the way around. I'm bending my left knee, reaching my right arm down to the leg and reaching the left arm up and over. Okay, inhale, reach both arms up, and exhale into goddess. Inhale to reach again, straighten the legs, and exhale, bend the legs, find our way into back bend goddess. Inhale, reach, exhale, front right knee bent into our reverse. Okay, so right knee bent, I'm sweeping to the left. Inhale, reach, we'll do one more full round, and exhale into goddess. Inhale, reach, and exhale into backbend goddess. Inhale, reach, and exhale, left knee bent, reverse warrior with the left knee bent, and I'm sweeping to the right. Inhale, reach, on our way back now, and exhale to goddess. Inhale, reach, and exhale, backbend goddess. Inhale, reach, and exhale, pivot all the way around to the front of your mat. Bend that front knee, bring your hands down either side of that front foot, bring left knee down, bring right knee down, and make our way all the way down to the ground. We're going to just finish off our flow with a few rounds of Shavasana, okay? So reach the arms back for this one, and maybe everybody lifts the legs for this one, and we won't quite hold it for as long as 3 breaths. So inhale, lift, give it all your energy now, and then exhale to come down. And we'll keep going. So inhale, lift, whole back body work, and exhale down. And inhale, lift, equal lifting left hand side of the body, and equal effort in all sections of the spine, and exhale to come down. Okay, hands either side of the front of the chest there. Lift yourself up nice and slowly. And we'll do just a few rounds of cat-cow, nice and gently. Working with the spine, not against it. So nice inhale to let the belly soften down. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, nice and gently. And maybe even some figure eights. So just to talk you through the figure eights, I'm going to swing my hips. Let's see, we'll start in center position. I'm going to swing my hips to the right and back, left back. Then I take it all the way diagonally, right forward, left forward, diagonally, right back, left back, diagonally, right forward, left forward. Let's see, can I possibly swap the direction? So I'm currently left forward. I'm going to do right forward, diagonally, left back, right back, diagonally forward, left forward, right forward, diagonally back, left back, right back. Okay, my lefts and rights are working for me today. Okay, we'll get ready for the restorative part of our practice now. So coming all the way down to the ground. And we're just going to start with a few, seeing as it's back bending class, we're going to mirror the whole theme within the poses we do for our restorative. So we'll start with a few gentle bridge poses. So just bringing the pelvis up and down and using the breath to bring it up and down. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart or a little bit wider if you feel that works for you. Bring the hands down either side of the body. Okay, and the knees are well bent, and we're going to have our feet nice and tight in against the back of our hips. They are as close as they will comfortably go. Okay, we'll start without the arms for the first one, and then we'll add the arms in. So inhale, lift the pelvis up nice and gently, vertebrae by vertebrae, and maybe now, contemplate not coming to your highest bridge pose. So, we're coming to the restorative part of our practice, and we know now at this stage restorative is about a real gentle opening and not really into our highest stretch, because we're working with the nervous system, not against it. And then exhale to bring the pelvis down, and then inhale to come up again. See, can you come up vertebrae by vertebrae? We're going to add a pelvic tilt there to it to help you get the sensation of lifting the vertebrae up one by one. So come all the way down. And then when you come down, tilt the pelvis forward. So it's like just you're overarching. If you can see it there, it's a bit dark, so you may not be able to see it. I'm arching my back there, and I have the hip bones reaching forward. Okay, so this is our inhale here. We're going to exhale to tilt the pelvis back so that I've flattened out the lumbar, the lower spine curve. So this is our exhale. And then we're going to inhale, and it's like from the bottom of your glutes, the bottom of your buttocks muscles there is the first thing to lift. So this is our inhale, and you're lifting one vertebrae at a time. So I'm squeezing my lower glutes there as just the lower part of my pelvis lifts. And then I start to isolate each vertebrae at a time. Now it's a little bit hard because of the lumbar curve to take those ones one at a time, but see, can you lift them one at a time? And this is still your inhale, a very long inhale. And we come to the top of our inhale. And then we exhale to bring them back down one at a time. So you kind of have to really tuck the pelvis there forward to get that, or actually the pelvis, yeah, to get them to come down one at a time. This is our exhale. And when we come all the way down, our spine will be quite flat on the ground. We're going to curve it again. So we're going to inhale. So we're adding an extra breath into our lifting and lowering. We're going to inhale, and as you can see there, I have my two pointy hip bones lifting up and forward. So really that's a fancy way of saying I've created an overarch in my lower back there. And then exhale, I flatten out the arch in my lower back there. And inhale, I'm lifting. So just one vertebrae at a time. And we'll do that whole routine one more time. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Pressing into those feet, pressing into the tops of your shoulders and the back of your head and your forearms. They're going to help lift you. And then exhale brings you back down again, vertebrae by vertebrae. As you have, when you find yourself all the way down on your mat, we're going to add that little tilt. So inhale, the inhale is the hip bones lifting up and forward, gives you that lovely arch in your back. Exhale brings them down again. And then inhale brings the spine up vertebrae by vertebrae. Lift, reach those knees forward, the chest back, and then exhale, gently coming all the way down again. Okay, and then maybe let's just bring the feet mat distance apart and windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. A nice little bit of a counter pose for the spine to bring you into a twist here. Okay, the next time you find yourself rolled over to the right-hand side, follow with the whole upper body and make your way to a seated position. Grab one of your blankets, and we're going to make a narrow roll here to bring us into a gentle back bend. So we're going to build our back bends up a little bit in our restorative. Okay, so I have a 4-fold blanket here. So that's literally fancy term for a blanket folded in 4. And again, I know I say this every week, but it will depend on the size of your blanket. Everyone's blankets are different. So I'm going to show you the final thing and you will get hopefully work to get something different. So if you have a huge blanket, it might need more than a 4-fold. Okay. And then I'm going to fold that again. So it's going to be a long folded blanket. Okay. And then what we're going to do is roll it up, just 1 or 2 rolls. So you'll just be surprised at how little you need to roll to actually get into a back bend. With the upper back in particular, it doesn't need a huge amount of a lift. You're going to pop that at the top of your blanket. So what you're aiming for is for this roll that you've created there to sit at just the tip of your shoulder blades. Okay, you might need to give it a little squish to stop it from rolling out. Okay, so bring yourself around onto your mat there and just bring yourself onto your forearms there. Just have a check behind you just to make sure that you're going to hit it at the right point. Mine's a little bit too high. I'll bring it down and I'll give you a little hint or a little tip on how to know whether you're in the right position or not. It's basically, I know that I have my roll in the right position. Where is it now? It's there. So actually it's too high. That's better. So I bring my arm out and I have 2 finger distance between the top of the roll and my armpit there. And then I know that I have it in around about the right position on the tip of my shoulder blades. It feels a little bit too high again. Okay, so the reason why we have it on a narrow roll is so that we have space for the shoulders to drop down either side of the roll there. So we want to have a nice bit of a chest opening within our back bend. So if it feels good for your back, you can lengthen those legs out. If that brings a little bit too much of an arch in your lower back, you can keep your knees in a bent position there. So either legs straight or bent. Okay, I would suggest palms facing up. Again, that's going to externally rotate those arms and bring a little bit more opening to the front of the chest. And of course, if the front of the chest is opening, it means that we are coming into a back bend. Okay, so this lovely gentle front body opening back bend in our first restorative pose. So take some lovely deep breaths here. And maybe not particularly labored long breaths, just a kind of more of a natural kind of a sigh. So we don't really want to force a rhythm to the breath too much. We're trying to just let it ease out itself. And with the chest, that like little lift to the chest there might help you to really feel the sensations of your breath in the front of your body there. And really kind of have this sense, even though your eyes are gently closed, this sense of the whole front body expanding and opening on the inhale. And then, the exhale where it's curling back into itself a little bit. And so opening with the inhale, let the breath fill your lungs. Feel the rib cage expand. And then closing on the exhale. Let all the air come out of the lungs come back and the ribs join back together. Now see, can you just play around the breath and find a nice even breath. So let's go for just an even inhale and even exhale. And see, can you make it a lovely quiet and gentle breath. And can that softness to your breath does that help to even open a little bit more, just kind of as an idea? Because you're bringing a little bit of softness to the muscles around the respiratory system. Okay, so we're going to gently get ready to come into our next pose. So bend the knees up and then just pop yourself onto your right side there, rolling over on your right side. Press your left hand down to bring yourself up to a seated position. And we're going to come into our second pose now. I'm going to set you up for this one, and then I will give you a second option just in case people don't have bricks and things like that. So actually, I'll show you the alternative first because it's a very simple one. The alternative to it's actually, what's it called? It's called supported fish pose is the one that I'm going to set up with the bricks. So if you don't have bricks, just bring your bolster to the top of your mat. Maybe bring a blanket onto the back of your bolster, and then just bring yourself down. So coming into a lovely chest opening there, okay? And have the legs either bent or straight, okay? So just remember that in case this next pose either doesn't suit you or you don't have the bricks. Okay, so for the next one then, I'm going to bring my bricks into the medium height, okay? So this is lowest height, this is medium height, and this is highest height. So we're in medium height here, okay? Oh, medium, sorry, medium. And then our next brick is on its lowest height. So that's the flattest point, okay? And we want kind of maybe a brick distance between them. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the back of our head, this occipital curve there, this little bit here, which is a lovely point to get a bit of pressure onto. It's a place that we store a lot of tension, and it's a lot where a lot of headaches come from. So this one is a good one for headaches. And then we're going to place the blanket, because the bricks aren't very soft or gentle on the back of our head, we're going to place one of the blankets. So I'm hiding my prop there just to show you again. It's on the mid height, and then I have a blanket on top of it. And of course, actually, if you don't have bricks, books, there's all sorts of things that will work for this. What you can do is create 2 stacks of books, and then definitely put a blanket on top because they'll be quite hard. And then for the second brick, we're going to put my blanket on top. Now, there's also the version of this where you take the first brick on its highest height and the second brick on its medium height, but it can feel a little bit unstable if you're not used to the pose. So I'm starting you on the lower one. Okay. Now, if you have another blanket, have it close by. We might drape that over our chest. I always like to put the blanket, the supportive blanket, onto the area of the body we've been working with. Okay, so coming down is really just going to be a trial and error sometimes. So maybe have like a bit of distance, maybe kind of, I don't know how to measure that, maybe a 4 arms distance between you and the back of your first brick there, and gently bring yourself down. So again, that first brick, we kind of wanted to be sitting somewhere around where our roll was. So it's the shoulder blades there. And then the top one is maybe a little bit easier to move if we get the position wrong, but actually I seem to have hit it fairly accurately there. Again, if you've got ponytails and things on, move things out of the way so nothing's sticking into you. And really what the area that you want this back brick to be hitting is this curve here. It's like, you know, the way where your head starts to come into an inward tilt. It's just the kind of the crest of that, the top of that is where you want the brick to be sitting. Or, of course, as with all of these particularly restorative poses, in a part of the back of your head that feels most comfortable to you. Okay, you're going to lengthen the legs out again if that suits your lower back. If any problems with the lower back, you can keep the knees bent. And if you're keeping the knees bent, have them, I'd suggest to have the feet mat distance apart and the knees knocked in together, just to make sure that there's no energy involved in holding them there. Okay, so again, just a slightly more deeper chest opening and a back bend. Then our first pose, and again, that spare blanket, if you have one, place it over the front of the body there, just as again a little nod to the effort that your body's going to bring you into back bend. I'm not going to put mine on just in case you need to have a look up at me and check to see what position you should be in. Okay, so what can be nice, and I know it's a backbend class, but it's always great to take opportunities to add extra little benefits in. So what can be lovely here is to gently rotate your head from left to right. So a little couple of little no's there, as in shaking your head from left to right. And that will just massage out those all those little muscles at the back of that curve, occipital curve. And there's lots of little sensors around there too. It's quite a sensorial region of the head. We don't have a huge amount of sensation in our skull, but we certainly do at the back of our head. And I suppose we definitely have lots of nerves in our neck, and the back of our head I see as the point where the nerves start to be more active in the body. I suppose just to correct my anatomy, the entire head is made up of nerves, but just in terms of our ability to feel like the actual skin, or the area of the head, and it's not as tactile, let's say. Okay, and then if you're rotating your head, just bringing it to the center again, and let's bring our focus back to our class theme, our back bends there, and really let those shoulders drop down there between the two props, and that will help to really open the chest nicely there for you. And then feel for the breath. Same as we did the last time, this idea, even though your eyes are gently closed, this internal visualization of the front of the chest expanding on your inhale, and then a gentle contracting on its exhale. So really mirroring so much of nature in our capacity to open and close, the way flowers open to the light and then they close to the dark, the way the tide comes in and out. Everything in nature is constantly moving. Now let's do a scan through the body, and just to make sure that we're not holding any tension anywhere. So let's start with our toes, and see, can you bring your internal attention all the way down through those nerves of your body to your big toes there, and all your toes, all 10 toes of your feet, the fronts of your feet and the backs of your feet. See, is there anywhere there? Is there any little bits of hidden or subconscious little areas of habitual tension that you hold? And I just found one there in my left leg. It was I was holding it. And the minute I kind of internally told myself to let go, I actually noticed my entire left leg just gently dropping out to the left-hand side. So notice, is there asymmetrical holding in the body? Soften the knees, soften the front of the left hip, front of the right hip, left glute, right glute. The belly, let that be soft, let it expand with your breath. The back of the spine, the front of the spine, left shoulder, right shoulder, left arm, right arm, let the fingertips curl. Front of the neck, back of the neck, left jaw, right jaw, soft palate at the inside of your mouth, left cheekbone, right cheekbone, left eye socket, right eye socket, skin across your forehead like silk, top of the crown, back of the crown, and the curve at the back of your crown. Okay, so going to gently get ready to come out of this pose. Probably the most kindest way to come out is to just maybe bring your shoulders up a little bit until you can plant your forearms on the ground, press into your forearms to lift yourself up, maybe bend those knees there as you lift yourself up. Come onto your right hand and your left hand and just take a moment here, stay symmetrical. Maybe even rolling your shoulders forward. So just a gentle little counter pose to the back bends, maybe even hugging onto your knees. Don't pull yourself in too tight though. The back doesn't like to go too dramatically from one extreme to the other. Okay, and then just popping those bricks and blankets off to the side of your mat there. We're going to get ready for our Shavasana now. Okay, so as soon as we've been working with the back, I'm going to suggest that you take a four-folded blanket and place it along your mat there. Make sure that your whole back and your pelvis hits it, and indeed your head. So you don't want to suddenly fall off the blanket. So to have a difference of sensation there. And then maybe it might feel nice to pop your bolster underneath your knees. So that can be nice bit of relief for your lower back. And seeing as we've been working quite strongly into the back today, either a bolster or some rolled blankets underneath the knees there if the bolster is too high for you. Grab your other blanket there and just maybe drape that over the front of your body across your whole front spine, so the whole extent of the spine there. And also remembering this is definitely a layers on part of the practice when we come to our Shavasana, and for all of the restorative, it's the layers on. So pop the socks on and tops on. Now, as we come down or into this lovely symmetrical pose, and this idea of finding the neutral spine again. So feel the back of your pelvis sitting on the support of your blanket. That's why we've added that little bit of softness to make it feel good. And then feel a gentle rise of the lower spine, so our lumbar spine. It rises gently off the mat, and it might not be that obvious, but there's definitely less pressure. And then it comes back down again into our upper back. It comes down, and that's our upper back is our thoracic spine, and that hits the lovely support of the blanket. And then we have the curve of our neck, our cervical spine, lifting off the mat again. And then we come back down onto the back of our skull. So follow the natural curve of your spine. And just finding neutral again after all our lovely back bends. Gently getting ready to come back into your day. Bringing a little bit of movement into your fingertips and your toes. Maybe even stretching the arms out overhead, reaching the toes away from you. And then rolling over to your right-hand side. And always nice to pause here for a little breath. And then making your way up into a comfortable seated position, maybe even sitting on your bolster if that feels good. Bring the hips up. And hands in prayer position at your heart. Turns to your third eye, to your heart center. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me.